Emily Carter stood barefoot in the middle of her massive living room, staring at the sunset pouring through the floor-ceiling windows of the mansion she had spent 6 years building. The golden light painted the white oak floors in soft amber, while waves crashed against the cliffs below the property. Every corner of the house carried a memory of sacrifice. The marble kitchen reminded her of the extra hospital shifts she worked to afford imported stone. The floating staircase reminded her of nights spent sketching designs at 2 in the morning after exhausting 14-hour days. Even the glass walls carried scars from winter storms she had personally supervised during construction. People online would eventually call the house luxury, but Emily knew it had been built from heartbreak. 3 years earlier, her fiancé, Brandon, had left her for the daughter of a wealthy real estate developer. He had laughed during their final argument. "You dream too big, Emily," he said coldly. "Nobody from our family becomes successful like that." Those words followed her through every sleepless night. Now, standing inside the finished mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Emily should have felt victorious. Instead, the silence inside the beautiful home felt heavy. She wanted one thing money could not buy: family. That was why she spent an entire Sunday handwriting elegant invitations for a small housewarming dinner. She carefully tied each envelope with cream, colored ribbon, and included personal notes for everyone. To her mother, she wrote, "I know we've grown distant, but I'd really love for you to see the house." To her father, "I finally finished it, Dad. I hope you'll be proud of me." And to her older sister, Vanessa, "Maybe this can be a fresh start for us." Emily ignored the nervous feeling in her chest as she mailed them. For the next few days, she checked her phone constantly between work meetings. Every notification made her heart jump. She imagined laughter filling the empty dining room. She imagined finally feeling accepted. Then the replies started arriving. The first text came from Vanessa. "Sorry, Em, we don't really have time for your little party. Jason rented a yacht for Saturday, remember?" Emily stared at the screen silently. A few minutes later, her mother called. "Sweetheart, don't take it personally," she said distractedly. "Your father already committed to Vanessa's event, and honestly, a dinner party is kind of short notice. It's 3 weeks away," Emily replied quietly. "Well, people are busy." Busy, the word stung more than outright cruelty. That evening, her father finally responded in the family group chat. "Congratulations on the house, but you don't need to keep proving yourself to everybody." Emily read the message 3 times. She had spent years hoping her success would finally make him proud. Instead, it somehow annoyed him. One by one, cousins declined the invitation too. Some gave excuses about work. Others simply ignored her message completely. By Thursday night, every seat at the dining table was empty. Emily sat alone in the enormous kitchen, surrounded by unopened wine bottles and catering menus. Her chest tightened as she called the event planner. "I need to cancel the dinner," she whispered. After hanging up, she finally allowed herself to cry. Not because they rejected the mansion, because they rejected her. Outside, rain tapped softly against the giant glass windows while darkness swallowed the ocean view. Emily wrapped herself in a blanket on the living room couch, wondering why love from family always felt conditional. Near midnight, her laptop chimed with a new email notification. She almost ignored it, but the subject line caught her attention instantly. "Dwell Magazine, feature selection notice." Emily frowned and opened the message. Her breath stopped. The editor explained that one of America's top architectural photographers had discovered images of her home online. Out of thousands of submissions, her mansion had been selected for Dwell Magazine's upcoming issue, featuring the most extraordinary homes in the country. They didn't just want photographs. They wanted her story. Emily slowly looked around the silent mansion again. For the first time all week, she smiled through tears. Maybe the house had never been meant to impress the people who ignored her. Maybe it was proof that she had survived without them. The morning Dwell magazine released its newest issue. Emily Carter was wearing paint, stained sweatpants, and watering lavender beside the infinity pool when her phone exploded with notifications. At first, she assumed something was wrong at work. But then the messages kept coming, unknown numbers, Instagram tags, emails from reporters. One text after another flooded her screen. Is this your house? You're trending on TikTok. Oh my God, Emily, congratulations. Confused, she opened the digital cover of Dwell magazine. Her breath caught instantly. There it was. Her mansion stretched across 2 full pages beneath the headline, "The woman who built her dream after losing everything." The article described the cliffside home as one of the most emotionally inspiring architectural projects in America. The journalist wrote about Emily personally sketching designs during sleepless nights after heartbreak, supervising construction herself, and creating a sanctuary that blended strength with peace. But one sentence hit her hardest. This home is not a symbol of wealth. It is a monument to resilience. Emily stared at the screen silently while ocean wind brushed through her hair. For years, nobody around her had understood why the house mattered so much. Now strangers somehow did. Within hours, social media exploded. Design influencers posted videos analyzing the mansion's warm minimalist style. Luxury real estate pages called it the dream home of the year. Television producers emailed interview requests. And suddenly her family remembered she existed. Vanessa called first. "Emily," she screamed dramatically through the speaker. "Why didn't you tell us you were going to be in Dwell?" Emily blinked slowly. "I didn't know until last week." "Well, this is huge," Vanessa said. "Jason and I were thinking we should come celebrate tonight, maybe film a little sister reunion video too." Emily remembered the exact words Vanessa sent 2 weeks earlier. "We don't really have time for your little party." Now she suddenly had time. Before Emily could answer, another call came through from her mother. "We just saw the magazine," her mother said excitedly. "The neighbors are talking about your house already. Your father bought 3 copies this morning." Emily almost laughed at the irony. Her father, the same man who claimed she was trying too hard to prove herself, was proudly showing the magazine to everyone in town. By afternoon, cousins who ignored her invitations suddenly filled the family group chat with heart emojis and congratulations. Vanessa even posted childhood photos online with the caption, "Always proud of my baby sister." Emily stared at the screen in disbelief. The same sister who mocked her dreams now wanted public credit for them. That evening, Emily escaped the chaos by walking through the lower garden where construction workers were finishing the final guesthouse details. She found Daniel Brooks near the stone pathway, adjusting outdoor lights. Daniel had worked on the mansion project from the beginning. Quiet, patient, and steady, he was one of the few people who never treated Emily like she was chasing an impossible fantasy. "You've been avoiding your phone," he said gently without looking up. Emily sighed. "Is it that obvious?" "A little." For the first time all day, she smiled honestly. Daniel leaned against the wooden railing overlooking the ocean. "You know what's funny?" he said. "Back when nobody believed in this house, you never stopped. But now that everybody loves it, you look miserable." His words landed harder than she expected. Emily looked down at the waves crashing against the cliffs below. "I think I kept hoping success would finally make them love me differently," she admitted quietly. Daniel shook his head softly. "Real love shows up before the magazine cover." Silence settled between them, peaceful and warm. Then headlights suddenly flashed through the front gates. Emily turned toward the driveway. A black SUV rolled onto the property, followed by another vehicle carrying camera equipment. Vanessa stepped out first, wearing designer sunglasses and a white outfit that looked chosen specifically for photographs. Behind her, 2 men lifted video cameras onto their shoulders. Vanessa smiled brightly and opened her arms. "Surprise," she announced. "I thought we could film our emotional family reunion here tonight." Emily's smile disappeared instantly. Emily stood frozen at the entrance of her mansion, while Vanessa confidently walked inside, as if the house already belonged to her. The camera crew followed close behind, recording every movement, every smile, every fake emotional reaction. "Get the chandelier in the background," Vanessa whispered to one cameraman, "and make sure you capture the ocean view." Emily folded her arms tightly. "You brought cameras without asking me." Vanessa removed her sunglasses dramatically. "Relax, Em. This is good publicity for both of us." Both of us. The words instantly irritated her. Daniel quietly stepped beside Emily near the doorway, sensing her discomfort. And like Vanessa's loud energy, his calm presence grounded her. "You don't have to do this if you're uncomfortable," he said softly. Emily glanced toward the cameras again. Part of her wanted to throw everyone out immediately. But another part of her, the younger version who still desperately wanted family approval, kept hoping tonight could somehow become real. So she forced herself to nod. Dinner began awkwardly. The long oak table Emily originally imagined filled with warmth and laughter instead felt like a performance stage. Vanessa constantly interrupted conversations to retake videos. "Wait, everybody smile again." "No, Mom, say that one more time about how proud you are of Emily." "Dad, lift the wine glass slower." Emily pushed food around her plate quietly while the cameras rolled. Her father spent most of the evening bragging about the mansion's estimated value to Vanessa's followers. "Property like this easily hits 10 million now," he announced proudly. The same man who once accused her of showing off now sounded obsessed with the number. Meanwhile, her cousins wandered through the mansion, taking selfies in private rooms without permission. One even asked whether Emily planned to buy another vacation house soon. Nobody asked how she survived the years of loneliness building it. Nobody asked about the nights she cried herself to sleep. To them, the mansion was suddenly entertainment. Halfway through dinner, Emily excused herself to the kitchen for air. Her chest felt tight from forcing polite smiles all evening. As she reached for a glass of water, she heard Vanessa's voice from the hallway nearby. She got lucky. Vanessa whispered to someone, unaware Emily could hear. "Without that magazine feature, nobody would care about this stupid house." Another woman laughed softly. Vanessa continued, "She's acting like she built an empire or something. Honestly, people are only obsessed because the story sounds emotional." Emily froze completely. For a moment, it felt like every cruel childhood memory came rushing back at once. Vanessa mocking her clothes in high school? Vanessa rolling her eyes when Emily got scholarships. Vanessa always needing to feel superior, even now, after everything. Her sister still couldn't stand seeing her succeed. Emily slowly placed the water glass down. Something inside her finally broke, but strangely, the pain disappeared with it. When she returned to the dining room, dessert had just been served. Vanessa immediately smiled brightly for the cameras again. "There she is," Vanessa laughed, the queen of the mansion. Emily remained standing instead of sitting down. The room gradually quieted. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice stayed calm. "You know," she began softly, "when I first invited everyone here, there were no cameras." Vanessa's smile faded. Emily looked around the table slowly. No magazine articles, no interviews, no social media attention. It was just supposed to be dinner with family. Silence filled the room. "I remember sitting alone in this house after every single one of you declined my invitation." Her voice cracked slightly. "I canceled the catering because nobody wanted to come." Her mother lowered her eyes immediately. Emily continued, "I didn't invite you here tonight because I wanted praise. I invited you because I wanted love." Nobody moved. Then Emily looked directly at Vanessa. "But you said you didn't have time for my party." Vanessa opened her mouth, but no words came out. And now suddenly, Emily said quietly, "You have time for my success." The cameras stopped rolling. The room became painfully still. Emily took a slow breath before speaking one final time. "I think it's time for everyone to leave." Vanessa stood abruptly. "Emily, don't be dramatic, no." Emily interrupted gently. "For the first time in my life, I'm finally done begging people to value me." Nobody argued after that. One by one, the guests gathered their things and walked toward the exit in silence. Only Daniel stayed behind, quietly helping the staff clear plates from the table. Hours later, Emily sat beside him on the balcony, overlooking the glowing city below. For the first time since finishing the mansion, the house finally felt peaceful. 6 months after the disastrous family dinner, Emily Carter stood in the sunlit courtyard of her mansion, watching a group of women laugh around the outdoor fireplace. Soft music floated through the ocean air, while waves crashed gently below the cliffs. The house no longer felt lonely. It finally felt alive. After asking her family to leave that night, Emily spent weeks questioning herself. Part of her wondered if she had been too harsh. Another part realized she had tolerated emotional neglect her entire life simply because it came from family. Daniel helped her through those difficult weeks. He never pushed advice onto her, he simply stayed. Sometimes he brought coffee during construction meetings. Sometimes they sat silently on the balcony watching sunsets without needing conversation. Slowly, Emily learned what genuine care looked like, care that didn't disappear when attention or money faded. One evening, while walking through the mansion's empty guest wing, Emily had an idea. She remembered all the nights she spent crying alone after Brandon left her. She remembered feeling invisible to the people she loved most, and she realized thousands of women probably carried that same loneliness every day. So instead of expanding the property for luxury, Emily transformed part of the mansion into a private healing retreat for women rebuilding their lives after heartbreak, betrayal, divorce, or loss. The response became overwhelming. Letters arrived from strangers across the country thanking her for sharing her story. Women attended weekend retreats filled with therapy workshops, art classes, ocean meditation sessions, and quiet evenings around the fireplace. For the first time, Emily understood something important. The mansion was never supposed to prove her worth. It was supposed to become a place where broken people remembered theirs. Meanwhile, Vanessa's perfect online image slowly began collapsing. Followers noticed how differently she behaved in old videos compared to Emily's calm interviews. Former friends exposed Vanessa's habit of using people for attention and status. Sponsorships disappeared one by one. Ironically, the same internet fame Vanessa chased so desperately became the thing that revealed her true personality. Emily heard about the drama from news articles and mutual relatives, but she refused to celebrate it. Because revenge no longer interested her, peace did. Her parents also began reaching out more sincerely over time. Her mother occasionally sent thoughtful messages, asking about the retreat center instead of the mansion's popularity. Her father struggled more with pride, but one afternoon he quietly mailed Emily a handwritten letter. It contained only one sentence: "I should have been proud of you long before strangers were." Emily cried when she read it. Not because it erased the past, but because it was the first honest thing he had ever said to her. On a cool autumn evening, Emily hosted another dinner party at the mansion. But this time, the guest list looked very different. There were no influencers, no cameras, no fake smiles. Instead, the long oak dining table filled with retreat volunteers, close friends, architects who genuinely supported her journey, and women whose lives had changed through the program. And beside Emily sat Daniel. Halfway through the evening, he reached for her hand beneath the table. The small gesture felt more meaningful than every public compliment she had received after the magazine feature. Because Daniel loved her before the world decided she was impressive. After dinner, the guests gathered outside beneath glowing string lights, while ocean wind carried laughter across the cliffs. Emily slipped away briefly to her office upstairs. While organizing old documents, she noticed a small ivory box tucked inside a drawer. Curious, she opened it. Inside were the original handwritten invitations from the very first housewarming party, the ones her family ignored months earlier. Emily slowly traced her fingers over the cream-colored ribbons. For a moment, she remembered the loneliness she felt when every chair at her table sat empty. But strangely, the memory no longer hurt. A soft knock sounded behind her. Daniel leaned against the doorway, smiling gently. "Everyone's looking for you." Emily smiled back, placing the invitations carefully inside the box again. "I'm coming." As she walked downstairs toward the warmth of people who truly cared about her, Emily finally understood the sweetest form of revenge. It wasn't making others regret hurting you. It was building a beautiful life that no longer depended on their approval.